Welcome back, everyone, to our special sports bulletin today, a day when I must bring you the most shocking information in the history of world football. I stand here right now with a truly chaotic rush of emotions, and I firmly believe that after hearing what I am about to reveal, all of you, the passionate fans of the King of Sports, will also share a feeling of absolute shock. On the threshold of the upcoming World Sports Festival World Cup 2026, countless rare events that have never happened in any other World Cup are appearing right before our eyes, most notably the issue of high technology fraud on an unprecedented scale. Organizing a global sports festival like the World Cup 2026 is an extremely complex issue that requires meticulous preparation down to the smallest detail. Yet just before the opening day, a deeply troubling issue is occurring that completely destroys the faith of billions of football-loving hearts around the globe. You are not hearing this wrong. We are facing the deception of the century, a reality so harsh that I had to read this secret report dozens of times before deciding to stand up here and tell you the entire brutal truth. The whole football world is holding its breath, waiting for an explosive, spectacular, and the fairest World Cup 2026 ever, featuring top superstars and especially the appearance of the new AI referee technology from the World Football governing body FIFA. This is a technology that they proudly announced to the world would bring absolute fairness to every team. They promised a superior machine learning system capable of analyzing every camera angle, calculating every millimeter, and completely eliminating human error. It sounds wonderful, does it not? Because we once completely trusted the traditional VAR system, even though it still had flaws, and now FIFA wants to elevate it to another level using the power of artificial intelligence. But no, the reality is that everything is just a meticulously and perfectly staged play. A play where we, the audience, the people who spend money buying tickets, the people who stay up all night watching football, are nothing more than puppets in the hands of manipulators. The new AI referee technology of FIFA does not operate transparently as they promised in the media. Much more terrifyingly, it is manipulating the results of test matches in the most sophisticated and cruel way possible in order to fix scores. Close your eyes and imagine a system programmed at the cost of hundreds of millions of dollars to protect fairness is actually the shadow director for results that have been predetermined before the opening whistle even blows. This is absolutely not a normal technical glitch or some random software failure. This is a match-fixing behavior on a global scale and intentional intervention aimed at distorting results according to the desires of some dark underground force behind those dry lines of code. When I received the first leaked information from senior technology engineers, people who directly participated day and night in developing this AI referee system, I was truly shocked, speechless. They pointed out with undeniable documents that the algorithm of this system had been brutally compromised. A secret backdoor system was sophisticatedly implanted deep into the source code so that in the crucial life or death moments of the match, the AI system would automatically adjust the camera angles, change the measurement parameters of the offside line, or even distort the image analysis of penalty fouls inside the penalty area. It operates so smoothly and sophisticatedly that even the most experienced referees standing on the pitch cannot detect any abnormalities. They completely trust what is sharply displayed on the VAR screen without knowing that those images have been reprocessed by the AI system in real time to serve a pre-existing match-fixing script. We are talking about match fixing using the latest generation of artificial intelligence technology, a horrifying level of fraud unprecedented in the history of human sports. This is truly disgusting and raises an uncontrollable outrage. The sweat and tears of the players constantly falling on the pitch, the hoarse and passionate cheers of millions of supporters in the stands, and the hopeful watching of billions of people through small screens across the continents. All of it, yes, all of it is being made a blatant joke. We are being deceived right before one of the most sacred tournaments in world sports. Surely you are wondering right now who is the real villain behind this earth-shattering plot. Why would FIFA, the supreme powerful organization of world football, the agency guarding the flame of sports, let an AI referee system manipulate its own beloved tournament that brings in massive revenue? Is it just loose negligence in technology, security, censorship, or are there truly dark hands of notorious underground betting syndicates directly manipulating the AI referee operating servers? Those are the agonizing questions that I will uncover layer by layer for you in the next parts of today's special bulletin. But for now, a bare and bitter truth clearly appearing is that we can no longer place our full trust in what we see on the VAR screen in the upcoming matches. The concept of fairness in football is being threatened more seriously than ever. It is standing on the verge of complete collapse. When machines are entrusted with supreme judicial power, but are turned into tools serving the bottomless greed of humans, the core moral foundation of sports is considered heavily destroyed. My feeling right now standing in the studio is exactly the same as yours sitting in front of the screen. It is extreme outrage mixed with a deep, overwhelming disappointment. The World Cup 2026 should have been a magnificent stage to honor the noble sporting spirit, where human strength and the pinnacle of technology blend to create the most beautiful moments of sublimation. But now, a dark cloud of deceit is covering the entire preparation work for this tournament. I cannot stop thinking about the recent friendly test matches of the major national teams. Do you still remember those incredibly baffling disallowed goals? Those penalties falling from the sky that completely turned the tide of the match, where even after watching replays multiple times in slow motion, we still could not understand why the AI referee made such an illogical decision. At that time, we just clicked our tongues, thinking simply that the AI system was in the learning process and had not truly perfected all situations on the field. But no, my friends, the truth is it did not make any silly mistakes at all. It is doing exactly down to every little detail what it was programmed to do by Hidden Figures. That is exactly the most sophisticated match-fixing behavior of all time. The cunning nature of this software system lies in the fact that it does not crudely intervene in every match or every boring situation. It only silently wakes up and operates fiercely in pivotal matches, and especially at extremely sensitive moments, capable of shifting massive cash flows in the black betting market. Just one virtual offside centimeter automatically drawn by the AI system is more than enough to snatch away the glorious victory of a team. Just one frame subtly altered in speed to deceive the viewer's vision is enough to turn a completely legal ball dispute into an unjust straight red card that collapses all tactical calculations of the head coach. Even more terrifying is that all this dirty data is solidly secured with world-class encryption layers, making the investigation and evidence gathering by authorities incredibly arduous and difficult. If not for the brave experts overcoming their fear to stand up and blow the whistle, perhaps all of us would have entered the World Cup 2026 with naive and blind trust in a deceitful technology. This horrific incident not only deals a fatal blow to the prestige of FIFA, but also directly threatens to destroy the entire foundational structure of global professional football. Imagine how devastating the consequences will be when all trust is broken. Billion-dollar sponsors are preparing to threaten to withdraw from the tournament. Football federations and national teams are urgently demanding an emergency meeting to clarify the truth. And more than anyone else, we the fans, those who have been sacrificing both money and time to nurture this fierce passion, are demanding the most transparent and satisfactory explanation. Why could a modern system named AI referee be corrupted into a dirty money printing machine for a ruthless minority interest group? This shocking story will continue to develop with many unpredictable turns, and I can firmly confirm to you that this is only the tip of a massive iceberg named artificial intelligence match fixing. We will work together to strip away this entire dark truth, exposing to the light the darkest hidden corners that they are trying to suppress and cover up. The patience of billions of true football-loving hearts across the planet has been tested to its final limit. We absolutely cannot sit still and cross our arms, watching this great sport being torn apart and manipulated by soulless computer algorithms and bottomless human greed. Football was born to bring endless joy, community cohesion, and the most authentic, uplifting emotions to all of us. It is absolutely not a pre-programmed video game so that someone can leisurely sit in a discreet, air-conditioned room, manipulate a keyboard, and decide the cruel fate of the sweat pouring down on the green grass. The upcoming World Cup 2026 should be a perfect stage, an epic anthem of uncompromising fair sportsmanship. But with what is blatantly happening before our eyes, that epic anthem is in danger of turning into the most tragic, sad song in modern sports history. I will not let those manipulators achieve their dark goals easily, and I hope you will not either. At all costs, we must bring this shocking truth into the light to protect the purity of football. Do not take your eyes off the screen for even a second, because the shocking information in the next sections will shock you 10,000 times more than what you have just heard. To truly understand the severity and ruthlessness of this AI referee scandal, we must turn back the wheel of history to look at the glorious yet turbulent path of previous World Cups. Football from its dawn was inherently a beautiful painting drawn by the most primitive human emotions. It is a place where perfection and individual mistakes always go hand in hand to create the unpredictable appeal of the king of sports. In the past, the cruel whistles or erroneous decisions of flesh and blood referees in black shirts on the pitch, despite leaving immense bitterness, were ultimately considered an inevitable part of the game. We have witnessed the bitter tears of millions of fans when their beloved national team was unjustly eliminated by a ghost goal or a clear offside play, but the main referee turned a blind eye. Those unjust failures at host countries in the previous century fueled a burning desire within football authorities to find a comprehensive solution to bring absolute fairness to the players. And then the light of technology began to creep onto every green pitch. The 2018 World Cup in Russia marked a great historical milestone when the video assistant referee system, which we commonly call VAR, was first applied on a global scale. At that time, billions of fans burst into joy because finally the silly mistakes of humans had a strict mechanical monitoring system. Although the initial VAR system was still awkward and caused matches to be slightly interrupted, no one could deny the tremendous values it brought. Covert fouls in the penalty area or manual offside lines saved a series of teams from unjust death sentences. The resounding success of the World Cup in Russia lied not only in excellent organization, but also in the fact that they pioneered opening a new era, an era of transparency and justice on the pitch. The faith of fans in the integrity of the king of sports was solidified stronger than ever. Following that victorious momentum, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar continued to elevate the technological experience to a new, more brilliant level. The host country, Qatar, and the World Football Federation proudly introduced the semi-automated offside technology with a series of wide-angle cameras closely tracking every tiny movement of the ball and the players. Surely you still clearly remember the 3D graphic images sharply displaying every millimeter of distance of the player compared to the offside line broadcast directly to billions of television screens across the planet. It was fast, accurate, and incredibly convincing. causing all heated debates to seemingly be extinguished right in the egg. Those tournaments closed with brilliant success, bringing massive revenue and affirming the absolute dominance of the World Cup in the sports world. Success after success caused the high-ranking officials of the Federation to fall asleep on their victories and gradually develop a crazier ambition, wanting to completely eliminate human intervention from refereeing decisions. They argued that if semi-automated technology performs so well, then why not hand over full decision-making power to artificial intelligence to reach the realm of absolute perfection? And that is the origin of the tragedy we are facing right before the 2026 World Cup. The ambition to create a flawless AI referee system inadvertently threw the doors wide open for dark underground forces to infiltrate. Instead of using technology as a support tool to protect the purity of the match, they turned it into a deadly security loophole. Unlike the old days when flesh and blood referees making mistakes were just physical limitations in vision or heavy psychological pressure on their shoulders, humans can make mistakes, but mostly they are random mistakes with no intention of manipulating the outcome of an entire tournament. If a referee shows bias, tens of thousands of spectators in the stadium and countless camera lenses will immediately expose the truth, and the career of that man in black is considered finished. But with the AI referee system, the story turns in a completely dark and 10,000 times more terrifying direction. A soulless machine does not tremble before public pressure, has no feeling of moral remorse, and most importantly, it hides all fraudulent behavior under the perfect guise of ultra-complex algorithms. When looking back at the brilliant World Cups in the past, where every goal was the crystallization of true sweat, effort, and talent, I cannot help but feel heartbroken for the current situation. We joyfully welcome technology with a fierce belief that it will protect football from blemishes, but unexpectedly, the blind dependence and lack of strict control turned technology into a sharp knife, stabbing a fatal blow into the hearts of billions of fans. The resounding success of the previous host nations has now become a deadly psychological trap, making us mistakenly believe that everything will always go well with machine intervention. That very complacency created incredibly favorable conditions for invisible hands to stage the most sophisticated match-fixing script in history. They exploited the absolute public trust in the VAR system and automated offside technology beforehand to blatantly manipulate the output data of the AI referee. The great achievements of the past are now being used as a screen to cover up a global-scale sports manipulation crime. This collapse of trust is much more painful than human errors in the past, because this time we are deceived by the very weapon we believed would bring justice. The stands will still be packed with audiences. Flags and flowers will still fill the sky. But behind those passionate cheers, what percentage remains of absolute trust in the results displayed on the scoreboard? When the dark cloud of manipulating AI technology officially rolls in, dragging along storms of fraud and fixing, it not only destroys the upcoming World Cup, but also threatens to wipe out all the good legacies that football has painstakingly cultivated for over a century. Right now, I will take you deep into the epicenter of this earthquake to strip bare the most earth-shattering evidence. The secret report clearly indicates that the new AI referee system of FIFA did not naturally make errors, but was intentionally designed to deviate at life or death moments. The answer lies in a seemingly harmless software patch updated to the server just a few weeks ago. But alas, that was a Trojan horse carrying malicious code at the highest level. These malicious codes are so sophisticated that they have the ability to recognize the massive betting cash flow pouring into underground platforms. When a bet order worth tens of millions of dollars is activated on the under for penalty cards or over for corner kicks, The artificial intelligence automatically calculates an intervention script right on the pitch. It calculates the probability of the ball trajectory, changes the camera angle, and simulates virtual collision images to completely deceive the referee team in the VAR room. An anonymous senior former engineer bravely revealed that this AI was trained using millions of videos from past matches. It learned how humans react to sensitive situations and thereby knows how to create the most perfect fake situation. In a recent internal test match, this system brutally intervened in a situation leading to a decisive goal. The striker was clearly standing half a meter below the last defender, but the system automatically bent the offside line by a microscopic ratio based on optical visual effects to turn an invalid ball play into a lightning-fast goal. Everyone on the field was bewildered, but the giant screen broadcasted a smooth, flawless graphic image proving the player was completely onside. The horrifying truth is that the image was rendered in a split second with physical parameters completely altered. It manipulated both spatial perspective in real time, making even the most seasoned analysts helpless without the original source code for comparison. Who is the mastermind behind manipulating this demonic system? Their purpose is undoubtedly the massive dirty money from the black betting market. Leaked data shows that transnational high-tech crime networks colluded with the underworld to bribe the core group of programmers. They no longer bother bribing referees with risky cash. They bribe straight into the server system using invisible protocols. By manipulating the results of matches with the largest viewership, they not only reap billions of dollars, but also hold the power of life and death over the destiny of a national football background. Imagine the cruel scenario when a completely unknown underdog team is suddenly favored by the AI system, blowing continuous penalties to eliminate a heavyweight championship candidate. The betting market will wobble, and those hidden figures will seize all the betting money from naive fans. This is organized sabotage aimed at the very soul of world sports. Football has turned into a money laundering, profiteering tool, legalized by the label of ultra-modern high technology. What makes me feel most indignant is the terrifying silence from the competent authorities. When the first reports of abnormalities were submitted to the top officials, they chose to suppress the information instead of conducting an independent investigation. They feared that admitting the technological loophole would collapse the prestige of the tournament and cause sponsors to flee. But that cowardly concealment only made the situation terribly out of control. The players, the brave warriors on the pitch, now have to face an invisible enemy that cannot be defeated physically. They train relentlessly, bleeding and shedding tears to dedicate beautiful plays, but all efforts become meaningless before the soulless command lines of a machine. An unreasonable judging frown from the computer system can wipe out all the efforts of a whole collective, wipe out the glorious dreams of millions of fans. A feeling of ultimate helplessness encompasses true professionals when realizing the green pitch has now become a chessboard where they are merely pawns ruthlessly manipulated. We absolutely cannot sit still and accept such a harsh truth. These ironclad proofs of sophisticated intervention must be broadcasted widely to awaken the global fan community. Today's bulletin is an emergency alarm bell before the biggest tournament on the planet falls into a black hole of deceit. If we do not act decisively right at this moment, the great sport connecting billions of hearts will forever be tainted with the dirty stain of bottomless greed. Those criminals hiding behind technology must definitely be unmasked and appropriately punished before international law. But how to reverse this cruel endgame and save the upcoming World Cup from the worst disaster in history? The answers and emergency remediation plans will be revealed right in the next part of this shocking bulletin. We have traversed the depths of outrage and shock in the face of the crime of manipulating sports with AI technology, but my friends, we absolutely cannot just cross our arms and watch football slowly die. When a system is poisoned, the only and most urgent solution is not to cover up the wound, but to boldly surgically remove that tumor immediately to save the entire body. To soothe the worst technological crisis in history and, more importantly, to regain the little remaining trust of billions of fans on the threshold of the 2026 World Cup, FIFA must carry out emergency actions unprecedented in history. There is no more time for evasive, closed-door meetings or empty, harmless, public appeasing press releases. The life or death moment of the king of sports demands the most historic and decisive decisions from those at the top. First and most resolutely, FIFA must immediately freeze the entire AI referee system in all stadiums preparing for the finals. There is no further concession or blind testing. Continuing to use a system proven to contain match-fixing malware is no different from suicide and aiding international crime networks. The power to decide the fate of matches must immediately be returned to humans. We will be forced to revert to the traditional VAR system, but with an extremely strict and more transparent cross-monitoring mechanism. Instead of having just one VAR referee team sitting in a closed room, FIFA needs to establish a completely independent supervisory council. This council must include prestigious former world referees, neutral sports data analysis experts, and representatives of international investigative agencies sitting together to evaluate every sensitive decision on the field. Only when there is absolute consensus from humans based on raw, algorithmically unprocessed footage can the final verdict be allowed to be issued. Second, a global-scale cybersecurity investigation and purge campaign must be activated tonight. The world's leading cybersecurity corporations, independent organizations with absolutely no interest ties to FIFA or billion-dollar sponsors, must be invited to dissect every line of source code of the AI referee system. They must trace the root origin of the malicious codes, find the backdoor loophole that the underworld implanted, and most importantly, they must point out by name the insiders who sold their conscience to bring this garbage technology into the tournament servers. These technical pieces of evidence must be made entirely transparent under international media pressure. There are no forbidden zones in this large-scale investigation. Whether it is the lead software design engineer, the high-ranking official in charge of the project, or the anonymous betting bosses, all must be dragged into the light and face the harshest criminal sentences. Football needs major surgery to wash away all the filth, and only absolute transparency is the only antidote to salvage the situation right now. Third, FIFA needs to immediately establish a whistleblower protection hotline and an emergency risk compensation fund for heavily affected teams. The brave technology experts who risk danger to stand up and expose this scandal are facing direct death threats from dark forces. They need to be protected by the international community at the highest security level because they are the silent saviors who pulled football back from the abyss. At the same time, national teams participating in test matches where scores were manipulated by the AI system need all mysteries clarified. The results of those deceptive ghost matches must be completely annulled, and the re-ranking evaluation process must be conducted immediately to ensure no team suffers unjust disadvantages before entering the competition. The audience, the people who spent their sweat, tears, and money to buy tickets to watch those fraudulent matches, also have the right to a full refund and an official sincere apology from the management agency. Finally, the real power to change this dark situation does not lie far away, but lies right in the hands of our billions of fans. We cannot passively wait for justice to be bestowed. Pressure from the global public opinion, from massive supporter associations across the continents, is the sharpest weapon to force those in charge to act. Let us speak up together on all media platforms. Let us turn outrage into a campaign demanding radical transparency. If we turn a blind eye today, tomorrow, this sport will only be a soulless corpse manipulated by ruthless algorithms. This AI referee incident is a painful blow, but also a golden opportunity for football to look back at itself. Racing for technology is not wrong, but letting technology rule and trample on core human values is an unforgivable crime. Closing today's shocking bulletin, my heart is truly still beating with incredibly rapid and agonizing rhythms. The horrifying story of the rebellious AI referee system automatically fixing matches will surely go down in history as one of the darkest and most terrifying stains of modern digital era sports. But through the fierce storm exposing this deceit, we also realize a priceless blood lesson about the limits of cutting-edge technology. No matter how intelligent and superior machines are, they are created by humans. And if they fall into the hands of those with bottomless, greedy ambitions, the consequences brought about will be an incalculable and unsalvageable disaster. The king of sports has resiliently gone through hundreds of years of brilliant historical development, overcoming countless harsh ups and downs of wars, pandemics, and the worst crises. It proudly survives and keeps the passionate flame alive in billions of hearts until today, precisely thanks to the immortal, passionate love of true fans like all of you watching the screen right now. We, the genuine sports news broadcasters, commit to always closely following every smallest development of this historic investigation, absolutely not backing down before any pressure or threats, to bring you the fastest and most honest, updated information. The truth, no matter how harsh or cruel, must absolutely be exposed under the sunlight to protect justice. Thank you all for taking the time to accompany us through the tense, suffocating, but incredibly necessary moments to protect the integrity of world football. If you found this special bulletin provided useful value and want to continue the arduous journey of exposing the dark truths in the sports world with us, do not forget to press the channel subscription button immediately and turn on the notification bell. The enthusiastic support from all of you is the greatest motivation for our team to continue fighting our hardest for a fair, fraud-free pitch. Goodbye and see you again in the next explosive breaking news bulletins.